Obviously going to be a big week for central banks again. Let's get to Rick Santelli, who's got ISM coming up. Rick?
Yes, big week for central banks and big week for trying to figure out what central banks are going to do. And tomorrow's event, and ultimately whenever we get the results, is going to figure into that prominently. Look at an intraday of 10s. Yes, they are moving down. They're now down 4 basis points. The curves 2s to 10s has flattened by 3.5 basis points here. And if we look at 2-day, you get a much better glimpse of what's going on. We were at 87 plus in the wee hours last night. We were 87 plus in the wee hours before our time zone this morning. But it is giving way. There's this de-risk fear, even though equities are doing well, because of what's going to occur tomorrow, of course. And as Carl pointed out, I'm not sure how Jay Powell and company are going to end up mopping all this up. Should a better vaccine or different types of drugs to combat COVID-19 resurface sooner rather than later. But if you look at a June 1st start to 10s, you really see what's going on. We really have moved right up to that almost 90 basis point June 4th high. And the data is out. Markit PMI, the October final read, which pulls out 53.3 and replaces it with 53.4, so a little bit better than expected. We'll have PMIs from the ISM grouping coming out in about 15 minutes. Let's continue with the charts. So you see that June 1st chart for 10s. They moved up right towards that high. Look at the same June 1st of Boons. Completely different picture. We see that it wasn't a very kind move lately for Boons, and maybe it's the shutdowns or how Europe's dealing with COVID versus how we may be dealing with COVID, at least in the eyes of investors. And if you look at 10s minus Boons from that same period from June 1st, look at how much different the differential is between the two. And that is very important to pay attention to as it widens out. And finally, you talk about a bad October for a currency. Here's the euro versus dollar for the month of October, finishing basically on the lows.
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.